Alrighty, so this is part 3 of Project 3 Folio Task 4, the uniform costing. So we're going to continue on, just scrolling down to the tasks, just to give us a quick refresh on where we're at. So always a good idea if you've spent some time away from the task to have a look at it and go, okay, well, what am I doing exactly? What am I working on? So preparing our spreadsheet for the uniform costings, I've used the strikeout function to cross out everything that we have already done in our previous tutorials, and we're down to the last two final parts which are highlighted, which is creating the spreadsheet in accordance with the style guide, and then creating a chart. Creating a chart. So at the end of our last session, we had formatted our headers and footers. We'd formatted our headers and footers, and also played around with the column sizes, the column widths, and the row heights. So we've got everything sitting on the page in a nice, neat order. So everything's very nice and neat. So I've also used the strikeout function. We've also used the strikeout function in our style guide to show the things that we have actually finished and we've done. So I've done a large portion of this formatting already. So continuing to work through the style guide extract. So it's a good idea to use that strikeout function. I think it's a very good idea to literally cross out things as you do them. Particularly with the style guide, a lot of students' work that I've been marking and that I've seen, the students aren't getting a lot of these things completed. They're missing out on things. They're missing out on things from the style guide. Simply because maybe they're not going through it in detail enough and things like that. So using the strikeout function to literally make sure that you complete every single part of the style guide. All right. So just starting at the top of where we haven't got things, or where we've things we haven't done in the style guide. Table borders to be black, 1 point thickness. So flicking back to our spreadsheet, we need to add borders, to this table here. We need to add borders to this table here. So just highlighting. First off, I'm just going to highlight the text in full. Now, at the moment, there's nothing in these cells here. In row 10, columns A, B, C, and D, there is nothing there. So you do not cover that in borders. All right. So just having a look. These cells here, you don't put borders around those because there's nothing in them. So you don't put borders around cells. Generally, you don't put borders around cells that don't have anything in them. So I'm just going to highlight the body, the body of the table, and then I'm also just going to highlight those there, the totals. All right. So I've put borders around the table and also around the totals. If we have a look at the print preview, you'll see that those cells in that row 10 are blank still. Alright, with the borders in place, we'll go back to our style guide extract and cross that out. Put a strike through that because we've finished that, we've done that. 3.3, header rows / columns to be filled with logo pale blue, and there's the coordinates for that color. So looking back at the table, we've got a header row here. Headers could also be columns. They can go up and down as well, but in this table, it goes across the top as a header. So I'm going to shade in this top row here with logo, logo pale blue. I'm just going to copy and paste these coordinates for the color into the document so I can see them. Just put that there. I'm going to delete that, but that's just for my reference. So highlighting that header row, going to the paint can and selecting more colors. From there we can put in our custom colors. And you can see there I can now just read those. Red 137, green 192, and blue 229. And that's the color that we're going to use. With that complete, we'll go back to the style guide extract and cross that out so that I know I've completed that. Text within body cells to be aligned left. Text within body cells. So going back to the table and having a look for the text. Okay, so that's anywhere where there's text. The figures, no, that does not, okay, include the figures. It's only the text, and it is all aligned to the left. I've also centered that text as well. I've given it middle alignment, so it doesn't sit on the bottom of the cell. It sits in the middle of the cell. It gives it a much cleaner look. All right. At this point, same too with all of your headings as well. Okay, middle alignment and left alignment. Now, something that I've just noticed, which is an error, is that this row here, row 10, is actually smaller than the other rows. So it's very important to make sure that you've got the same row height. So if we look at row 9, it's 0.69. And you need to make sure that all the rows that you're using are exactly the same. So 0.53, so it was, row 10 was different. Okay, so again, now that looks a lot nicer. It doesn't look as squished up at the bottom there. It doesn't look as squished up. Okay, back to the style guide extract. I can cross that one out. Next one here, numbers within body cells to be aligned right. All of our numbers, so highlighting all of our figures, we need to make sure that they are aligned to the right. Right and middle alignment and to the right. Okay, that was easy because it was already done. Crossing that one out. Okay, next we're going to look at aligning, or formatting all of our figures. All right, 3.6.1, all figures are to be formatted in accounting style. Cents should not be displayed unless the value of data shown is under $1,000. All right, so let's go with that one first. Let's put in our accounting style. All right, so going back here. So, figures to be formatted using accounting style. Now, that is referring to figures which is a monetary value. Okay? Quantity here is not a monetary value. All right? So you don't format quantity. Okay, don't format quantity. You only format those things which are of a monetary value. So unit cost, yes, we need to right click and we need to format that as accounting. Now we don't put any dollar signs. The style guide extract, I haven't read it yet in this video, but you only use the dollar sign symbol for things that are totals. Okay, and if it's under $1,000, we need 2 decimal places. So press OK. Now we don't format quantity. Quantity is not a monetary value. Okay, so we don't format that one. All of these ones here we can highlight, right click, format cells. These are all of a monetary value, and we can format those to accounting, and with no dollar sign. Okay, press OK. All right. Next thing we need to do is change these ones here so that they have dollar signs. Format cells, and we give them a dollar sign. And we also need to, for these 2 cells here, is take away the decimal places. Okay, because like it said in the style guide extract, going back, cents should not be displayed unless the value of data shown is under $1,000. So if it's over $1,000, we need to hide the decimal places. So format cells, 0 decimal places. Okay, so that's how we need to format, according to the style guide, those cells. A little bit tricky, and there's a bit of thinking involved. Yeah, that's how it should be. So coming in here, we've finished 3.6.1, so I'll put a strike through on that one. Subtotals and totals should include dollar signs. So just checking, we've only used dollar signs on our totals. Alright, so looking at the dollar signs, we've put dollar signs in just the totals. Okay, just the totals at the bottom there. Alright, nothing else. So I could put a strike through on that one. Next one, totals must have a double have a top and double bottom border. Okay, top and double bottom border. So there were some issues with this in some students' work. The double bottom border is just it's just double bottom. Okay, it means top border, so a single line at the top, and then a double line at the bottom. So to do that, you go into all borders, and you'll see here it's called top and double bottom border. So that's all you need to select. Okay, it just appears at the bottom under the totals. It does not appear like this. It doesn't look like this. Okay, it only appears like that. Okay, a top border, and you can have a look. You can see in the little picture, it gives you a top border, a line at the top, and I'll do one here. Let's do one here. Okay, and zoom in. A line at the top, and then a double bottom border. So make sure that's all you're putting in. You're just making sure. And when we've got all the other lines and borders in, it will just appear. Okay, it will just appear with the double lines at the bottom. And you do want to have these other borders, okay, around the other figures. Okay. All right. So done that one. Done that one. So I go back to the style guide extract and cross that one out. Last bit here, vertically align within rows to be centered. Now we've actually already done that, and that is by selecting the entire table and making sure that our vertical alignment is in the middle. So we can remember we do alignment both up and down vertically and left to right horizontally. We've got to make sure that everything in the boxes is aligned in the middle or in the center vertically. With that one done, I'll cross that out. Okay, last few things. We've got point 4, 6, and 7 to complete. Okay, 4, 6, and 7 to complete. We'll leave 4 because that's the chart. That'll be the very, very, very last thing that we do. Next thing is number 6, printing. Spreadsheets, when printed, must be done so considering conservation of resources. However, print size should not be unreadable. So this is just making sure that when we set up our spreadsheets, that we set them up to print on the least amount of pages as possible. The least amount of pages as possible. We've already been considering this. We've already been considering this in that we have squished and we've made sure that our table fits on one page. Okay, so we've done that by making sure it sits on one page. What we can do is set our print area. So highlighting the text, page layout, and we've already been through this once before. Set the print area. That way we know that we're not going to print any other cells because we've just set that print area. And I'm going to make sure by going into my page setup that it fits one page wide and one page tall. So that ensures that I'm using the least amount of paper that is possible, and that is one page. Okay, least amount of paper as possible. That's how we satisfy. That point number 6 there. So crossing that one out because that's done. Saving the spreadsheet. Publication type. So the publication type, topic, initials of the typist. So that's so spreadsheet, work schedule, and then your initials. Digital files are to be stored in appropriate departmental folders on G Drive. So just please make sure that you have named your document or you've named your document correctly. If we have a look at the folio, we've got instructions there on exactly how to save it as well. So this is a good opportunity. And what I like to do is I'll just copy that. I'll highlight that because it tells me how I should save it. It tells me the exact words that I should use. Control C, copying that. File, save as. Okay, file, save as. And please make sure that you change the part that says your initials. That means you need to put in your initials. Okay. And then hit save. Okay. Spreadsheet, uniform, costing, BL. So I've saved that. I can now cross that one off. So I've done all of that. And the last thing that we have to do, or actually we'll go back to the folio. So we've done all of this here, so we can cross that one off as well. All right, I know it's a little bit of a convoluted process. We've got to jump between two documents, but that's where the information is stored. And the last thing we need to do is create the chart.